Margaret Mary Crook Lacey Schneider. Any combo of those names will work, but we all know her by Maggie, Mom, or even Mazzie. She was a tough Brooklyn Irish broad with a level of elegance mixed in. Her Catholic faith was a guiding light even when times were tough. Her first 20 years on earth included the Great Depression, followed by a world war. She lived in a house with parents and siblings, but also uncles and aunts and cousins. It was crowded. They made beer and gin in the bathtubs. Money was thin, but family was thick. Those years really molded her values and beliefs, and she shared those with us. She spent time working at Vogue magazine in the 50s, then Jansen Swimwear. She owned her own store on Union Street, and after that, a very successful interior design business on the peninsula. She wasn't afraid to attack new opportunities. 99% of her decorating business was residential. Then Silicon Valley came calling. If she was decorating their houses, why not their offices? In the mid-90s, she called me to tell me that she was decorating the offices for a fast-growing Silicon Valley startup called Excite. Her description was, "They do something with spiders." I replied, "You mean the web, Mom?" She eventually got the hang of it. Soon after that, Ralph Lauren recruited her to be their official interior designer for their California customers. She politely declined, stating that she did not like their home furnishings product line. Maggie had her opinions. She often described herself as lucky in love. She had 2 great marriages in her life, and neither ever showed any signs of weakness. She admired and adored both Bill and Dick. They both had strength and compassion, which she found incredibly attractive. You can see it in her eyes in these photos. Maggie also had a strong desire to be a mother. In her younger years in Brooklyn, she and her cousin would follow ladies with strollers, just wanting to get a glimpse. I am sure when my mother was notified that production of children on her own was not an option, she must have been devastated. The result, however, Maggie and Bill decided to adopt. So they did. First was Tad in 1965, and then me in 1968. Britt Stitt once put my parents in perspective for me. "Griff," he said, "they wanted to have children so much that they went out and bought you." Parenting was a mission to Bill and Maggie, not an obligation. When I was young, Bill and Maggie almost adopted another child, hoping it was a girl. That never happened. So when Maggie and Dick married, Mom suddenly had 2 of the most wonderful souls that I have met as daughters, and she cherished every second with them. Kathy and Gail, you made one of her dreams come true, and you did it in a lovely, welcoming fashion. Shortly after Maggie and Dick got married, my brother joined in the celebration with his own union with Kathleen. Now Maggie had more girls than boys, 3 spectacular daughters and 2 sons. A number of years later, Will and Claire were born. Her best times were watching them play and grow. Maggie had now realized that her current family had grown to a level that rivaled her Brooklyn home, and she loved it. Maggie has been known to have opinions. Sometimes you received them when you didn't ask. Sometimes you asked and didn't like what you heard. Many times it was exactly what you needed to hear. We have all experienced it. Over time, everyone will share their stories of their experiences with Maggie. Stories of laughter, stories of struggles, stories of compassion. Some are just stories. She made an impression on almost everyone she interacted with. Maggie was loaded with compassion, but rarely shared her actions publicly. A few years ago, a local family's house in Borrego experienced a fire. Under the radar, Maggie provided them with furniture for their new living quarters at zero cost. The local paper wanted to recognize her for it. She refused the interview and requested that her name not be mentioned in the article, and it wasn't. She has also helped others with gaining their U.S. citizenship and down payments on their first homes. She quietly supported many, never seeking recognition, and made a lasting impression on them all. On her last day with us, I observed one of the most beautiful moments of my life. I entered the room my mother was in after a call with one of my cousins outside. My brother was in a chair, hunched over. He had her rosary in his hands. He was midway through the entire rosary, whispering it into her ear. It was a lovely moment to observe, and I believe she heard every word. Thank you, Tad. So as we mourn and process our feelings, remember one thing. She understands our tears, but encourages our joy and happiness. Now it's time to pop the corks, raise the glasses, and honor her glorious existence while enjoying the rest of these photos of her life. Thanks, Mom. Rest in peace.